Hello, and thank you for joining me for this Ministry Pipeline video training series. Today's video is all about the Membership Review Committee. This is a special committee that was tasked in the month of May 2026 during our regular business meeting. And in this video, I want to walk you through the biblical basis, the purpose, responsibilities, and the steps that have been taken to get this committee on the ground. One of the responsibilities that God has given me as a pastor is to shepherd the people that He has entrusted to our care. In order to do that faithfully, though, a church has to know who its members are. As I think about this from a biblical conviction, this initiative is rooted scripturally. There's a biblical responsibility that God outlines for us in 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse number 2 when he reminds us to pastor and shepherd the flock that is among you. When I think about a membership role, that membership role should reflect those who are among us. In Hebrews 13, verse 17, God's word reminds us that we will give an account as pastors to how we cared for those who were in our care. Because of this, it's a very important responsibility that we clearly understand who is under the care and responsibility of our local church. We cannot identify who we are to shepherd without an accurate membership role. And so I want to share that with you from a biblical basis, but then also from a church covenant perspective. For many years, probably since the inception of New Home Baptist Church, we have used a church covenant. And this church covenant reminds us that we will care for those who are among us. When I came here as pastor, one of the first documents that I requested was a membership roll. At that time, I was informed that the church actually did not have a membership roll. The church had experienced a computer crash several years prior to that and lost all of that information. The church had had a membership roll, but due to that crash, at this point, the church no longer had one. It was my understanding that the church did the best that they could to reconcile that information, but the church never formally adopted a membership role afterwards. What I'm asking us as pastor to do is to establish an accurate membership role based on the information that we do have today, after combining that information and the information that is currently available today. We cannot effectively pastor and serve this church the way that God has called me to without that information. This is an essential part not only of my job, but also it's a very essential part to the constitution of our church, who its constituency is. The church needs to know who its members are, not just for spiritual and practical purposes, but even many legal reasons as well. So, the purpose of this initiative, the Membership Review Committee, this special committee, is not simply administrative. It is to provide care to our congregation, both those who are here actively with us week after week, and those who are considered members but have not been here in 10 to 15 years. We need to track them down and clarify their wishes. We're seeking to establish an accurate and meaningful role. We want to ensure that every member is cared for and shepherded, be that here at New Home or if they've connected with another church. We want to respect the wishes of those who have reconnected with another church. We want to celebrate that with them. Or perhaps someone who is not attending church anywhere. We would love to reconcile them. Everyone has a story. Every one of these members has a story. I want to hear their story and see how we can come right beside them and serve them. Ultimately, our desire is to minister faithfully to every person who is connected to membership at New Home Baptist Church. Fortunately, the church uses a church management software called ChurchTrack. This is a great database. It helps us to keep up with the names, family names, phone numbers, addresses, all the pertinent contact information. We can add tags to divide people into groups by filtering and sorting them. It keeps up with contribution reports, receipts, those types of things. And before I go any further, let me just clarify that all of that information is provided in layers. Those layers are protected by special permission settings. And so only certain people can have access to those permissions and that information. All of our information is secured through the ChurchTrack certificate. But let me mention this. I do not have access to those information details such as contributions and those financial reports. So I want to be very clear on that. The ChurchTrack keeps up with all that, but I, in my account, do not have access to that information. I have access to all the other information except that. And then one of the great things that will be helpful to us in the future is ChurchTrack also provides an online directory. So, those of you who may be interested in getting information about contact addresses, phone numbers, so you can minister to your Sunday school class or members within our church, you're able to access that information by opting in, but also their information is not put out there until they have given us permission to do that. So this is a future project. It's later on down the line. However, that is one of the values of using ChurchTrack. Today, our database currently contains 1,448 names. Of those records, approximately 435 individuals are currently listed as members. About 233 of those individuals are actively attending, and approximately 40 have returned in these recent years and need further review and clarification, and they need a deacon assignment. And then approximately 202 of those individuals have not attended at any time during my tenure here as pastor in the last 3.5 years. So we want to seek to clarify with those individuals, offer care and concern for them, and try to minister to them the best that we possibly can. Since we use ChurchTrack, this is a great resource for us to have all of this information available. Now, when I came here, there were about 1,100 names, and all of these names included one-time guests, recurring guests, people that had been here a long time ago for special events, people that were regularly attending. This is a great software. One of the features that you can do is you can list someone as a member, a guest, a prospect, former member, non-resident member, etc. And then you can sort and filter that list. So I took that initial list of 1,100 names. We distributed that to the deacons at that time. They helped me. We walked through these names. In fact, here is one of the packets that I received in return. In fact, if you look really closely, you'll recognize that it says 48 people were deceased. So out of those 1,100 names, we discovered that at least 48 of them were deceased. And they went through, I won't show you this information inside because it does have personal contact information, but they were able to go through here and they were able to write in pertinent information to help me see statuses. Yes, this person attended a long time ago. This person was a member here, etc. And so that information helped me to filter through all 1,100 names. We were able to see who is attending, who's not attending, and we were able to use that information to develop what I refer to as two informal groups. I've titled the first group Dustin Review 2023, Dustin Review Active. So that's one list. These are a list of those people that are currently attending New Home Baptist Church as of 2023. So basically drew a digital line in the sand, per se. Everyone who has been visiting since 2023 to date is in this list. Everyone who has not attended since 2023 and backwards fell into another category. At this time, right now, as I record this, I believe there are about 417 individuals that are actively attending New Home Baptist Church. And those are people that are coming right now. But there are more than that who have attended since 2023. So all of those people are grouped into that category. If they've come at any time since 2023, they're in that category. If they have not been here at any point since 2023, but their names were among the 1,100, now 1,400 names, then we put them in a different category. And that helps us to identify those that are actively coming to our church. It helps us to easily sort and filter that list. So after completing those steps, I was able to produce a list after that of all of those individuals who are currently listed as members. It does not mean that they have to have attended since 2023. We're talking about out of now those 1,448 names. I can report a list of all of those members. And out of that, as I referred to just a little while ago, we currently have in that list, out of those 1,448 names, 435 individuals who are listed as members. Now, we don't know that list is 100% accurate. As I shared with you, the church database crashed. The church did the best that you could to compile a list, and you put it into Church Track at that time. And now that's the information that we have available. So, in order to better identify a list of individuals, we want to look over and review those 435 names because, as I shared with you, biblically, as a pastor, I'm responsible for caring for them and shepherding them and making sure that we do our due diligence to give them the care that Christ has called us to do. So, let me summarize what I've just shared with you at this point. When I came here, we did not have a membership role. I immediately went to work on this project. The deacons walked right beside me with this project. Together, we filtered through 1,100 names. We used the information that we gathered from that research to produce a list of what we know today as 435 people that are listed as members. Again, this is not 100% accurate. However, it is the best and the only list that we have. My goal in this project is to provide the most accurate membership roll to our church so we as a church family can actively serve those members. My goal is not to unchurch anyone. Rather, it is to reconcile anyone who may be a member but is not actively coming. And it is to accurately love and care for those who are on our list. My goal is to serve those who have returned to our church after being gone for years. Many of those individuals that are coming to our church right now, we have about 40 of them that have returned, but they don't have an assigned deacon. And I want us to be able to navigate through that and assign them a deacon because technically they're considered members. They were gone for some of them 10 years, 15 years. They've come back to our church. And so we want to be able to care for them the appropriate way. So, in the May 2026 business meeting, the nominating committee moved the adoption of a special committee known as the Membership Review Committee. This is a special committee, temporary committee. The primary task of this committee, as I've shared with you, is to review all 435 names that we have identified through Church Track. Within this review, we're going to contact these individuals. We're going to confirm their membership status, extend care to them, let them know that as a church family, we are here for them. Um, we are going to do this not in a 2 month time frame. This is going to be about a 2 year project, and there will be periodic reports during that time frame. The project could be done sooner, but we don't want to rush through the process. We want to at least allow for 2 year to be able to do this. The team will use a membership care pipeline. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Before I do, I've already showed you one of the booklets. Here is, you can see this packet here. There's the names. There's the original 1,100 names that we were given to filter through. Sorry, I had to run that rabbit for just a minute, but let me share my screen here with you. So this is the pipeline that we're going to use to help care for and identify those individuals who are currently listed as members. In June, this nominating committee is going to review the names of prospective membership review committee members. The nominating committee is responsible for recruiting volunteer positions for our church, and we will nominate those individuals in a recommendation at a future business meeting. It will not be during the June business meeting, but during the month of June, your nominating committee is prayerfully considering names for who will best serve on the membership review committee. Once they extend a recommendation, probably in July, the church will have an opportunity to review that recommendation. They will recommend an amendment, they will adopt it, or they will decline it. And so the church ultimately will decide who are the members of this committee. The nominating committee will present those names, the church will adopt them, and then once the names have been adopted, I will go through a very thorough orientation with this committee. We will walk through the tasks of this committee. We're going to look at possible scenarios that they may encounter as they're interacting with those 435 names. We will walk through a phone script that I have given them access to, and I'll show you a copy of that here. Let me pull that up for you. That's not it. Hang on just a second. I had it pulled up and my computer went down. All right, so I believe it's on your screen now. This is the script that those individuals will use. And what I have done, let me just stop sharing my screen for a minute. I've already put together a binder that is alphabetized here. As you look inside, you'll see that all of those names are alphabetized A to Z by last name. And we will go through those. Here's a sample. Um, Let me redact this real quick. So it'll look like this here. And every one of these has a label up here at the top that includes the name of that member. It includes their contact information and then their status. So this person here is considered a member. Um, as I walked through this list here, this particular individual, I realized that this was a name that was entered as a member in error. I remember this person. This is actually a student that came to our ministry here and visited for a few weeks with his mother. But for a reason, by default, he was added in as a member. And this is the only one that I have found in all of these 435 names. This is the only one that I've discovered that was like that. So what I did is I went ahead and updated it myself, and you'll notice the red color code. I will ask our committee to color code these phone scripts. So when they get done with this phone script, and I'll put that on the screen again for you to be able to see, they will be able to walk through this phone script, and then once they've completed it, they will select the status of that person based on their information that they've received. They're not going to change the status of that person formally, but they're going to document it and document the contact attempts, next steps that they would recommend, and then down here the recommendation of that status. And so then they'll be able to color code it with particular color code that will represent their recommendations as a quick glance feature. Um, the committee will walk through, again, going back to our pipeline. They'll walk through that for a good length of time. They'll review that information, make sure that they have all the pertinent information that they need to make contact. We will distribute those names of those individuals. All 435 names will be divided among the committee members, and they will begin researching, checking public records if they need addresses. They need to check obituaries to confirm that someone may be deceased. They'll verify the addresses, phone numbers, emails, ask their deacons, ask Sunday school teachers, do word of mouth research. And we want to encourage folks that as they reach out and make contact, invite them to come to our 85th homecoming in the month of October. So from August to October, they're going to start the research and some soft contact. And then from November, and probably even sooner, once they get this information and they've gone through the orientation, they're going to be released to go do the work. From, let's say, October to July of 2027, we're going to be making contacts with all 435 people. Again, 202 of those individuals have not been attending our church at all since we've been here during my tenure. And so the other 233 members that are currently coming to our church, those will be easy. They can get those pretty quickly. The 435 names out of that 202 that are not coming to our church will be the primary focus for this committee. So they'll contact them by phone. They'll do phone calls, text messages. They may send them a letter to let them know, hey, praying for you. Social media, they'll exhaust every reasonable form of contact. Once they've done that and they've not had success reaching out to them by phone or some form of communication in that regards, they'll make a home visit. They'll look at the address that's on file, go by, stop at their home. They don't have to go into the home, but they'll stand at the porch and just at least try to initiate a conversation there to extend care to those listed individuals. Once all of these forms of contact have been exhausted, again, we're looking now at the point we're probably talking about June 2027, a year from now, as I record this. Once every form of contact has been exhausted, then the church will send a letter on my behalf. I will personally send a letter to all of these individuals that have been unresponsive and I will send a care letter to them. And I have a copy of that I'll share with you here. And the purpose of this letter is to let them know that I care for them. I begin with letting them know that I'm serving as the pastor here at New Home. It's been my privilege to be here for a few years now. One of the things that I'm passionate about is serving our community and serving our church membership. And you are receiving this letter because you are currently listed as a member of New Home Baptist Church. I'll explain to them just in brief detail. The church experienced a database crash several years ago. We're trying to update our records and our role. We want to serve you. Please let us know how we can best serve you as a church family. And we give them some options that they can respond. Those options list that they would um, like to have their name removed because they're attending a church somewhere else, or the second option would be they would like to make an appointment. I want to hear their story. Uh, what brought them to New Home? If there was something that made them leave, what can we do to resolve that? And then the third option is if they've received this letter in error, or if they do not wish to remain a member, please indicate that and let us know so we can make that adjustment accordingly, respectfully. And so those are the three options that they'll have in that letter as an option for response. We'll probably include a pre stamped envelope. And when we send this letter, what I'm recommending is that we would establish as a church a status in our membership record that we call watch care. Watch care is a term that simply means this person has been unresponsive for a period of time. And once this period of time is exhausted, 6 to 12 months, whatever the church recommends to go with, once this person has been unresponsive for a determined amount of time, then we would recommend moving their status to a different status other than active member. The church can decide how you want to do that. You can move them to former member. You can move them to a non-member status. Whatever status we choose to use at that time, we can discuss that further at a later point. But I would certainly recommend exhausting all forms of contact, sending them a letter, placing them in the watch care status, letting 6 to 12 months go by, continuously trying to reach out to them, contact them during the watch care status, still try to shepherd them and minister to them. And after that determined amount of time, 6 to 12 months, if we have been unsuccessful in contacting them or communicating back reciprocally, then we need to move them to a new status. So let me summarize this. And once the special membership review committee has done all of this work and they have identified all of those people that are in watch care, they will recommend to the church this list of members who are in watch care who have been unresponsive for the last year. We've made every contact effort. We've attempted to contact them. We've not been able to contact them. They've been in watch care for the last 12 months. Here's our recommendation as a committee. We're recommending to you as a church body that you would move their status to a different status other than that of member. The church will formally review this. They will adopt it, amend it, or decline it. So, to summarize everything that I've said up to this point, when I came here as pastor, there was no membership roll. The deacons and I sorted through 1,100 names. We've been able to identify a list of 435 individuals that are listed as members. The next steps include contacting all 435 people to determine how we can serve them, what their wishes are concerning remaining members of New Home Baptist Church or not. It's going to be a thorough process. It will not be rushed. It will begin with a full orientation. It will include training. It will include scenarios to help prepare the committee for what they might experience during the research process. And only after exhausting every attempt to make contact, then I will personally send a letter extending care and concern to that person. We'll place them under a watch care process for 6 to 12 months. And then after that 6 to 12 month period, so basically you're talking about 2 years of trying to contact this person and being unsuccessful. Only then will we present to the church that final recommendation of changing that person's status after the watch care process. This process has the potential of being a 2 year process. It's not going to be a rushed 2 month process. It could take up to 2 years. It may not, but we want to allot and allow for that amount of time. The special committee will not have any independent authority. They cannot make any changes on their own. Their research is to help us research and then to recommend to the body of New Home Baptist Church in a business meeting any recommendations that they have. The church will have the final authority to approve, amend, or decline any recommendations of the committee. I'm going to leave you with this thought as we wrap up this video. This project is not about reducing numbers. It is not about unchurching anyone or dechurching anyone. It is not about removing names. It's not about statistics. It's all about the people that represent those 435 names. Every person on that list has an eternal soul. Every person has a family. They have a story. They are someone who, at one time or another, and probably even still, loves Jesus. I want to reconnect with those individuals. It is our duty and obligation. I would encourage you, implore you, please look at this from a biblical basis. Look at this from the perspective of our church covenant. Understand that we have an obligation and a duty to care for these individuals. Whether they're fulfilling their part right now or not, we must fulfill ours. I want to be able to provide our church with an accurate membership roll for the future generations of our ministry. No one will be removed without fully exhausting every reasonable effort to connect with them, care for them, and to clarify their wishes. I hope that you will see this as a friendly work. My prayer is that this will be a fruitful work, and I hope that God will use this to flourish the ministry of New Home Baptist Church in the years to come. And I know that this is a faithful work for the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching this video. I do realize that it's been thorough, and please feel free to rewind it, rewatch it, speed it up, slow it down. If you've got any questions at all, this is all about transparency, and I'm here to help you. If there's any questions you have, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. You be in prayer for our nominating committee as they recommend members for this committee to the church body, and then you be in prayer for this special membership review committee as they fulfill their work in the days to come.